communication.
Okay, give me some examples. Like, what are some of these little foxes?
Okay, well, one of the biggest ones is criticism,
Okay.
negativity, taking each other for granted.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into those patterns.
It is, especially when life is stressful.
Oh, for sure. But how do we differentiate, like,
Yeah.
between healthy feedback
Right.
and destructive criticism?
Well, he makes this distinction between rebuke
Okay.
and criticism. Rebuke comes from a place of love,
Right.
with the intention of helping your partner grow.
Yeah,
But criticism
Yeah.
is aimed at tearing them down
gotcha.
and making them feel bad.
Okay, so it's all about the motivation behind the word.
Yes, exactly. And he also warns against assumptions,
Right.
like assuming your partner knows how you feel,
Yep.
assuming they'll always be there.
Right?
He says that love needs to be expressed.
Regularly, often, don't take it for granted.
So it's not enough to just feel love.
No.
You have to express it
Yes,
in tangible ways.
that's right.
That makes sense. What else does he say?
He encourages spontaneity,
Okay.
like doing something unexpected for your partner,
Mm-hmm.
surprising them
Yeah.
with a thoughtful gesture,
Okay.
breaking out of routine to have a shared experience.
It's about keeping the spark alive.
Yes, that's right.
Even after years of marriage.
Exactly. And speaking of keeping things exciting,
Ooh, here we go.
Munroe doesn't shy away from the topic of sex
Okay.
in marriage.
That's an area where a lot of couples struggle,
They do.
especially as time goes on.
It's true.
So what does he have to say about that?
Well, he starts by challenging this misconception
Okay.
that sex equals love.
Okay.
He says, love is a spiritual union between two people, a joining of spirit to spirit. Sex is a physical coupling of two people, a joining of flesh to flesh.
Okay, that's an important distinction.
So he's saying that while sex can be an expression of love,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same thing as love.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he also debunks this myth
Okay.
that sex is, spiritual or mystical.
Yeah.
He says it's a physical and chemical act
Mm-hmm.
designed by God for specific purposes
Yeah.
within marriage.
So what are those purposes? Why is sex so important in marriage, according to Munroe?
Well, he outlines 3 key purposes.
Okay.
The first is procreation,
Okay.
which aligns with God's command to be fruitful and multiply.
Right. Have kids.
Exactly.
That's the second purpose.
Recreation.
Okay, like fun.
Yes. Sex as a source of pleasure and enjoyment
Okay.
for both partners.
Gotcha.
And he's pretty explicit about this.
Yeah.
He says that God intended sex to be pleasurable
Okay.
within marriage.
Wow. So it's not just about making babies.
No.
It's about enjoying each other
Yes.
physically
It's right.
and having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
What about the third purpose? What do you think it is? Communication.
Yes.
Okay.
He talks about sex as a way for couples to deepen their intimacy and connection
Okay.
beyond words.
Okay.
It's a way of expressing love,
Right.
vulnerability,
Yeah.
and a deep level of trust.
Wow, that's really beautiful.
It is.
But how do we make sure
Yeah.
that sexual intimacy is fulfilling
Okay.
for both partners?
Well,
Because it seems like, a lot of couples struggle
they do.
with like mismatched desires,
Right.
expectations.
That's where communication comes back into play.
Okay.
He encourages couples to be open
Mm-hmm.
and honest
Yeah.
about their needs,
Right.
desires.
Okay.
He says there should be no shame,
Yeah.
no fear in discussing these things.
Right. So it's about creating that space
Mm-hmm.
where both partners feel safe
Yes,
to express themselves
that's right.
without judgment.
Exactly. And he even addresses wives specifically,
Okay.
encouraging them to be open
Yeah.
and adventurous.
With their husbands.
Okay,
And he
sure.
says this is key to fulfilling their husband's needs
Okay.
and strengthening their bond.
That's interesting.
It is, isn't it?
Does he set any, boundaries or guidelines
He does.
for sexual expression within marriage?
He emphasizes this question, does it edify?
What does that mean?
He's saying any sexual activity in a marriage
Yeah.
should build up the relationship,
Okay.
not tear it down.
Right. So it's not about, anything goes.
No, it's not.
It's about being intentional
Yes.
and making sure it aligns with your values
That's it.
and it's beneficial
Yeah.
for both partners.
And he says God has given us principles to
Yeah.
guide us
Right.
in this area,
Okay.
just like he has in every other area of life.
Yeah, it's about seeking wisdom,
Yes.
aligning our actions with God's design,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
pursuing intimacy
Mm-hmm.
in a way that honors both ourselves and our partner.
You got it.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot.
You have-
The purpose of marriage,
Mm-hmm.
the power of communication,
Yes.
those little
His
things,
little fox.
the little foxes,
Yes.
the role of sexual intimacy.
Right.
What stands out to you
Hmm.
as the most impactful takeaway so far?
That's a good question. I think for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's Monroe's emphasis on intentionality.
Okay.
He's challenging us to be intentional
Mhm.
about our marriages,
Right.
approach them with purpose,
You say that.
commitment,
Okay.
instead of like just hoping for the best.
Right. Like you have to put in the work.
You do.
You have to show up.
He's saying marriage is a journey,
Yeah.
and it requires effort,
Right.
communication,
Mm-hmm.
a willingness to grow and learn
Together.
together.
It's a partnership.
It is.
Yeah. It really is a journey, isn't it? And it's a journey that doesn't just impact us as individuals. It ripples outward.
It does. It affects our families, our communities,
Society as a whole.
ultimately.
And that's where Munroe takes us next in the book. He shifts the focus from the couple
Hmm.
to the family.